So let's talk about algorithms. Now you might be thinking, algo what? Well, this is simply a term that's often used in computer programming for a list of actions or instructions that are completed when an event happens. And this means, in simplified terms, that an algorithm usually consists of two main elements: a when, which is an event that happens, and a then, which are the instructions or actions that need to be performed when that event happens. In other words, you can think of it as, when this happens, then do this. So here's some simplified examples to help you to get your mind wrapped around this idea. To create a folder, a simple version of an algorithm that would be used on your computer might look something like this. When the new folder button is pressed, then create a new folder. To close a program, again, a simplified version of an algorithm that you might use on your computer or your computer might use would be, when the X button is pressed, then close this program or app. So what does this have to do with awesomeness and being awesome? It's because our brains work very similar to this. It uses algorithms structured similar to this to accomplish all sorts of things. And when you know and you understand how this works, you can use it to program your brain to perform successful behaviors fairly easily. So here are some brain-related examples of algorithms at work. When I see a stop sign or stop light, then I will put my foot on the brake. When I feel thirsty, then I will drink something. When my phone rings, then I will pick it up, press the answer button, and say hello. So as you can see, your brain has its own operating system for getting things done, and we'll call it Brain OS. Now, the algorithms your brain uses on a regular basis have been formed throughout your life, largely in ways that are unknown to you. And this means that while some of your brain's algorithms are okay, and even great perhaps, some aren't. And this can be a challenge because algorithms affect so much of what you do, including your thinking, your habits, and your reactions to situations. Now, you might say that your brain uses collections of algorithms that define what you do in larger areas of your life. And we'll call these collections of algorithms apps, something that you're probably familiar with. So your Brain OS has apps for such things as your health, such as when you eat, what you eat, or how you respond to cravings. It has apps for relationships, what you say and don't say in certain situations, or how you respond to certain words, certain looks that you might get, or a tone of voice. And there's an app for money, how you spend it, how you save it, and how you share it. And when you do things that you really don't want to do, you can think of that as an algorithm that has a bug in it. We all know what a bug is when it comes to computers, right? It's a flaw that causes the computer to not work and function properly. And it's the same thing with your brain. Now, fortunately, those aren't that big of a deal because those bugs can be reprogrammed to help you to take better actions, as you're going to see. Now, in addition, now that you understand what algorithms are and how they work, you can start designing your own, especially some that help you to automate successful behaviors. So here's a simple process for doing it. Step one, you want to identify events in your life where you want to start behaving differently or better. These are the wins in your life. Step two, you want to intentionally define the action or actions that you want to perform when that event happens. So here's some examples. When I first wake up, then I will drink some water, put a big smile on my face, open the blinds in the window, and make my bed. Or when I sit down to write, then I will take several deep breaths, do some simple stretching, turn off my phone, and review my list of writing tips and reminders. One more. When I buy something I want, then I will check for reviews, look for better pricing, and mentally list the pros and cons of buying. The goal here is to choose how you respond to life and not just leave it up to chance. Now let's talk about what I call A+ actions. So identifying events for your algorithms is relatively easy. Your day is full of people events, thought events, feeling events, and time-based events that trigger you to do something. But finding actions can be a little bit of a challenge when it comes to creating your own algorithms. So, to discover actions for your algorithms, you can, of course, do some brainstorming. That's always a great way to start. But I've learned that one of the best resources for these actions are the tips and strategies that you learn by reading books and articles, watching videos, and even attending seminars. So, for example, when you discover a tip or several tips on how to record a great video, add those tips or actions to your create a video algorithm, which might be structured like this. When I create a video, then I will, and at that point, what you want to do is list the action contained in tip 1, and then the action contained in tip 2, and so on to create a full algorithm. And as you learn and discover new tips and strategies in various areas of your life, as you will, then you want to update the appropriate algorithms that you've created so that you're always taking the best actions for the events in your life. So by now, you can probably see how combining all these steps can help you to deliberately and intentionally design and automate successful behaviors in your life in a very simple and super easy way. So let's talk about some next actions, how to use this. So to begin with, let's create your first BrainOS algorithm. To do this, you want to grab an index card so you can write your algorithm on it. And I like index cards because you can post them somewhere where they're visible, which helps you to quickly memorize and remember to use them. Next, you want to choose a people event, a thought event, a feeling event, or a time-based event that you want to act more successfully when you do it. For example, when I see my wife, you always want to act successfully when that happens. When I write, when I feel anxious, when I give a presentation, when I buy food, when it's 5 p.m. So you've got all kinds of events that you can use to create your first algorithm. Next, you want to identify 1 to 3 actions that you want to perform when that event happens. And it's a good idea to start each action with a verb, such as create, record, stand up, say, think, and so on. Make it a verb. And then you want to add some basic details to each action, but keep the overall list of actions as simple as possible. And when you do this, it's going to help make it easy to remember. Next, you want to install your algorithm, which means you want to take a moment and read the entire algorithm out loud, and then place the index card where you can see it and review it regularly, such as maybe on your desk or on your computer. And then finally, of course, you want to use it. So when an event happens, then state the entire algorithm out loud. Say we just did an algorithm right there. And if possible, state it out loud. Sometimes you may not be able to, but if you can, do that. It's going to help you to remember it, and it's going to give it some force. And then take action. And then after a couple weeks, install another algorithm using these exact same steps. And if you consistently do this for the next year, then you will have installed 26 new algorithms that will enable you to automate any successful behavior you want to adopt.